Thanks for inviting me here today. It's a pleasure to come and share with you about the wonderful tribe at WD-40. They have built a culture over the last 18 years that absolutely delivers unbelievable results. So the cornerstone of our organization is we're a learning and teaching culture. And a lot of talk in recent years about employee engagement. And it was said that pleasure in the job puts perfection in the work. I stand in front of you today ashamed because I represent today what I would call soul-sucking CEOs. Soul-sucking CEOs are sucking out the enthusiasm and the passion of people because of the environment that they create. And we are responsible for that. As leaders in organizations, it's our responsibility to create an environment where people go to work every day, they make contributions to something that's bigger than themselves, they learn, and they go home happy. Leadership is not about being in charge. Leadership is about taking care of the people in your charge. But we have failed. The latest research tells us that about 67% of people who are going to work in our organizations today are either disengaged or actively disengaged. In the United States alone last year, that cost the economy $2.1 trillion. On top of that, it created a bunch of illness, people going home with bad attitudes, wrecks families. We are really doing a terrible job. In fact, leadership today sucks, and it shouldn't. Because leadership is 24/7, 365 days a year. It's like performing on a Broadway show without intermission. Leadership is a contact sport. It's showtime. And if you can't be a good leader, don't. Because you have no right to mess with other people's lives. They do enough to mess with their own life. Why should you get involved in that? If you can't be a good leader, don't. As someone said this morning, be a good something else. Be an excellent something else. But leadership is simple, but it's not easy. And it's frickin' hard work. Because it's not about you. It's about the people that you are there to take care of. Because as I said, leadership is not about being in charge. It's about taking care of those in your charge. Simon Sinek says, people don't buy what you do, but they buy why you do it. And most organizations know what they do. Some know how they do it. Not many know why they do what they do. So, in our business at WD-40, as described earlier, we sell a product that stops squeaks. So, when our people get up every day, what is their purpose? We're in the memories business. We exist to create positive, lasting memories, solving problems in factories, homes, and workshops of the world. A memory is something that stays with you forever. I can guarantee you all one thing. You're not getting off this planet alive. And it doesn't matter how much money you've got or what you've done in life, the size of the box isn't going to change too much. But what you do have the opportunity to do is create memories that are positive and lasting and stay with their people. So our why is we create positive, lasting memories. That's why we get up every day. How do we do that? We create positive, lasting memories by cultivating a tribal culture that cultivates learning and teaching, which produces a highly engaged workforce that lives our company's values every day. And our values are the glue that keeps us together, that gives us freedom. So here's the model that we use. The pillars of people, purpose, passion, and products on the support of care, candor, accountability, and responsibility. So if you work at WD-40 Company, we care about you. Candor is about honesty. No lying, no faking, no hiding. Accountability. Accountability is a two-way street. The most important part about accountability is there a clear description of what we expect from each other? Then we have responsibility. We openly talk about responsibility. We empower people with what we call our maniac pledge. Here it is. I am responsible for taking action, asking questions, and getting answers, and making decisions. I won't wait for someone to tell me. If I need to know, I am responsible for asking. I have no right to be offended that I didn't get this sooner. And if I'm doing something others should know about, I'm responsible for telling them. That's the pledge we take at the tribe, because responsibility is our responsibility. This gives people the permission to take out of the finger pointing. Hey, that person. No, you're responsible. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. Peter Drucker said that. But what's important about culture is it's the beliefs, values, attitudes, and resulting behaviors that build culture. And culture isn't built in a day. You don't get the fairy dust and do this over the organization, and the fairy dust culture creates this environment. But you've got to have the framework in place to be able to grow within the culture. The framework that we talked about care, candor, accountability, responsibility, authenticity, openness, the reduction of fear and failure so that people are free. So in the model, you've got to have people, a culture, you've got to have your why. Why do we get up every day? Are we enthusiastic about making a difference in what we do? We have our values that set us free, and I'm going to touch on those in a moment. And then I discovered this little area down here that I call the typhoon zone. This is where most companies are always. It's all about the strategy, the planning, and the tactics, instead of the complete loop. So they're there strategizing and executing, strategizing and executing, strategizing and executing. The typhoon starts to absolutely flow, and they start to destroy the morale. They start to destroy the passion, because the other areas of the business that really make it happen are being excluded. So we plan and we execute, but we come out of that and we have another amazing thing that we do. We have a learning moment. We don't make mistakes at WD-40 Company. We have learning moments. So our culture, being a learning culture, is all about having lots and lots and lots of learning moments and sharing them for the benefit of all. So let's talk about our values. Most companies believe that values are important. Some companies have them, and the worst ones are those ones that are on the brass plaque that's in the foyer or the lobby. If you don't have those, you could forget it. Values need to be on the most coffee-stained wrinkle piece of paper in the organization. In fact, our values are embedded in our performance management system. And every conversation we have with our tribe members, we talk about whether they've visited or lived our values. Our values are hierarchical. Number one is more important than the last one. So you can't cherry pick the value to the situation. And each of these values has a paragraph that describes what good behavior looks like under those values. Our first value is we value doing the right thing. Now you might say, that's pretty bland. But let me tell you the power of that. Anyone in the organization, in any situation, can say, do we think this is the right thing to do? So it sparks the conversation. Our second one is we value creating positive, lasting memories in all of our relationships. We want to create positive, lasting memories with our shareholders. We're a public company, right? If we take care of our people will take care of our customers, and the customers will take care of our shareholders. So it's important that we create positive, lasting memories with our shareholders, with our customers and our end users and our people. And we have to serve all three. We value making it better than it is today, which talks about innovation. We value succeeding as a tribe while excelling as individuals. What does that mean? It means the tribe comes first. We value owning it and positive and passionately acting on it, which is our commitment. And the last one is we value sustaining the WD-40 economy, which really means we need to be profitable. But why do we say it that way? Because if we build a strong economy, the economy will take care of its people. Values free people. So in our organization, anybody can make a decision to do anything because micromanagement isn't scalable. As long as they use the values as their guide, as long as they look at our why and our how, they can do anything they want. They're free. Because we are having the values pull them towards what we want. Maslow, in his hierarchy to self-actualization, the third rung of this is where most companies miss it completely. On the journey to self-actualization, the first two rungs are about safety and security, and most organizations create that. The third one is about belonging. Why do most people leave organizations? Because they don't feel like they belong. Whose fault is it? Soul-sucking CEO's fault. Because we create that crappy environment. So we need to look ourselves in the mirror and say, we can't do that. So a while back, we said, how do we create something that people would belong to? So everyone said, well, we're a team. And we said, well, wait a minute. A team is something you play on situationally to win a certain game. It's not enduring. The end result may change. The person you're playing against change. So a team is great within a culture, but it's not something that's enduring. What's enduring? We said tribes are enduring. So what's our number one responsibility as leaders? If he wanted the tribe to succeed and grow and thrive, our number one responsibility is to be an always learner and an always teacher. The second thing is values. Tribes had values. You have to have values in an organization to set people free, to give them the parameters so they can be free to do what they need to do. There's belonging within a tribe. How do we see belonging? Well, they wear certain uniforms. They may have badges that says, I belong to this tribe. So the belonging is there. The caring is there. They're future-focused. Good tribes, good tribal leaders are making sure they're looking at the future. They're looking out, scanning the opportunities and the risks. And there's celebration. Don't take ourselves too seriously. Life is a gift. We have to celebrate good times. And we have to be there to support our people. A tribe is there to look after each other, to protect each other. Not one of us is as good as all of us. And that's why the tribal culture is so important. 10 traits of leadership. I've learned over time that there are 10 traits of leadership that are important. And these are hierarchical as well. Number one is leaders involve their people. Leaders are always in servant leadership mode. Leaders are expected to be competent. Leaders connected with a high degree of EQ, emotional intelligence. I have seen more people with leadership potential. They were brilliant people, but they had low EQ. They didn't understand that as a leader, it's about empathy, not about ego. Leaders need to have a strong sense of self-worth. It's often said that a great leader has a level of self-worth that is slightly above that the facts would validate. Slightly above. Leaders love the gift of contrarians. I'll tell you a quick story. I love this one because I get to tell you about my mum. My mum was one of the greatest givers of feedback you've ever met in all your life. She was the ultimate contrarian. There's only 2 words you need to know when your mum's 97. Yes, mum. The only word you need to know. Any others, no value. Sit down, Gary. Yes, mum. Would you like a cup of tea? No, mum, I got, boom, you got a cup of tea whether you wanted it or not. I made you some breakfast. I had some on the plate, and boom, you got breakfast whether you wanted it or not. And then mum would walk round to the other side of the table. Mum would sit down. She'd look at me. She'd smile. And she'd say, now, Gary, there's a few things we have to talk about. Oh, yes, mum.
Why didn't you call your brother the other day? Why didn't you do this? When are you going to do that? You work too hard. You're going to kill yourself. Why did you put on weight?
Yes, Mum, yes, Mum, yes, Mum, yes, Mum. The problem was 98% of what she said was freaking true. You need to have those cups of tea with your mum. But you need someone in your organization that has the trust in you and you the trust in them that can have that cup of tea with you. My challenge to you is, do you have that contrarian that is actually going to tell you what you need to hear? And all you need to say is not yes, mum, but thank you. Because 98% of what they're saying is probably true. Instead of preparing yourself to give the answer. Leaders move forward. Leaders do what they say they're going to do. And leaders are champions of hope. Of course we are. Of course we are. Because we can see out further than anyone else. Because we come out from underneath. And people want hope these days. There's enough crap going on in the world. Let's create something that people can look to and hope for and be what they need to be. So here's my latest letter to my shareholders. In the annual letter that just went out, our job is to make sure we create an environment where our tribe members wake up each day, inspired to go to work, feel safe while they're there, and return home at the end of the day fulfilled by the work they do, feeling that they have learned something new and contributed to something bigger than themselves. This is the world we envisage. If we can create this world for our people, they will take care of our customers, and that will, in turn, take care of our shareholders. And we have proof that if you do take care of your people, not only do you have a lot of fun, but you create a great place to work. Your vibe will attract your tribe. And as we go on, this culture will exist way into the future because it's so strong now that if you come into the tribe and you do not align with the tribal values, they'll vote you off the island. You will be spat out. That's how strong the culture is. So if you want to read the book that Ken and I wrote, Helping People Win at Work, there it is. You can follow me on Twitter at Learning Moment. And if you want to look at my website where some of this stuff is, I write blogs and stuff occasionally. Use anything you want. Anything I have is free. I give it all away. If it can help you build a better organization, please use it. Thank you very much for letting me share with you this afternoon. We have something significant yet to do, and we can do it. So please do not subscribe to the soul-sucking CEO Club. Thank you.